Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Wait, What Are We Talking About podcast, episode 207. My name is Bret, aka Enigma9011, and you can catch this podcast live over on twitch.tv/Enigma9011. You can drop a follow over there. You'll get notified when we go live, so you join on the fun and chaos with us. But if you can't catch it live, that's A-OK. Go over to YouTube and podcast services the very next week, where it's broken out topic by topic and put as one big video and MP3 for your amusement on the following Friday. Last but not least, wherever you're watching or listening to this, if you'd hit that subscribe button, follow button, whatever it is, it may seem small, but it does help the channel grow. So if you take the time to do that, we would love and appreciate you for it. Might be a little shorter of an episode, but as someone was struggling to think of what to talk about, but you know, things happen. Hopefully it's a good conversation nonetheless. We're going to do a little bit of a revisit as Moose jumps in here. There you go. We're going to be talking, or rather revisiting, the upcoming games in 2024 I'm looking forward to. We were lucky enough to once again do kind of their end of the year game discussion with Jeff Reg when he was on that episode towards the end of 2023. And we dabbled a little bit into upcoming games that we were excited for, but I felt like I kind of lacked on it a little bit, just kind of maybe touched on one or two things. So I wanted to go through a big list of what's coming out this year, or rather what's expected to come out this year, similar to the movie topic we did a few weeks ago, and just see what's caught my attention, what I'm looking forward to. Obviously, we're already, already almost a third of the way through the year, so we can talk about the stuff that's come out as well. That we might have already talked about in other podcasts, but just glean on them again, talk about them, and go from there. So let's jump into January. I don't know if there was anything here that particularly caught my interest. The list I'm going off of is handy dandy Wikipedia, so on the independent side of things, it might not have everything listed, so I do apologize there if I don't think of something on the indie side right off the bat. Big note here, Last of Us Part 2 Remastered came out. Me playing Last of Us Part 2 for the first time last year, really enjoyed Part 2 considerably more than Part 1, and the twists and turns that you take in that story. I don't think I'll be jumping into Remaster. I'm really happy, obviously, for the fans of Last of Us and from fans of the show that are now jumping into the series. This is a perfect opportunity for them, obviously, to jump into it. I think for current owners of like the original release, I think it's only like you can do an upgrade how they were doing with like the cross-gen thing, like PS4 to PS5, like a $10 upgrade to PS5 version. I think they have a similar thing here for owners of that, so that's nice in comparison to Part 1 Remaster, which obviously was a bit of a more jump graphically than the original release. But yeah, happy for them, those people jumping into it, but I don't think I'll be doing that anytime soon. There's a game on here that I'm tempted to check out. It is an indie dev, Hilltop Studios. I heard about it. Shout out to 61 Indie. Heard on their podcast, Little Guardsman. Puzzle video game inspired by Papers, Please. It was developed by Hilltop Studios, published by Versus Evil and Tiny Build. This sounds like you are kind of like a door... What do they call it? Like a doorkeeper? I don't know if that's the right term. But you have to determine if people enter your town or don't enter your town. So I'll just read the synopsis of the gameplay here. In Little Guardsman, a player takes control of Lil, short for Lilith, a 12-year-old girl who must do her father's duties as guardsman for the fantasy kingdom of Sprawl. Players must decide to admit, deny, or later arrest different characters, and the player's choices have an impact on the story. Lil has 3 action points for each character who wishes to enter Sprawl. Each action point can be spent on interrogation, calling one of the 3 royal advisors for their opinion, or on one of the 5 tools available. The tools also require power crystals to operate, and they can only hold a limited amount. However, upgrades can be purchased to provide the tools with more uses. Players can also retry any interaction, but they only retry a limited number of times. Players can also travel to other parts of Sprawl between shifts, allowing players to see the results of their decisions and occasionally making them do something which impacts the story. So it sounds pretty cute. I think I've seen a little bit of footage of Papers, Please, which obviously this takes inspiration from. But it sounds adorable. Obviously, the art style also is very neat and cute. So Might try that out at some point. Seems like it's on all consoles or all platforms. That's the word. And Tiny Build has some good stuff that they've worked on before. So might jump into that one eventually. And last one I'll shout out for, well, I guess two, for January. So we had 2 games that came out, which I haven't jumped into, and I don't know if I will, but I know there's a big audience behind them. We got Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth. I think this is continuing off of, oh boy, it's the other protagonist, not Kiru. No, it's Kiru? Oh god, Jeff would be yelling at me right now. Not Majima. I know it's not that guy. The other guy. But this is the other character, and I think it's based in the US. Oh wait, am I mixing my Like a Dragons up? There's so many Like a Dragons that maybe I'm mixing them up. Hold on. Ichiban. No, I might be right. Yes, okay, alright. It's just the cover had me thrown for a loop. I was looking at the wrong gentleman. Alright, so yeah, I think this is based in America. So, yeah, it's in Hawaii. So, kind of throws it on its head there of a different setting. I enjoyed what I played of the previous title, which we played on stream for just a moment. I think it's just Like a Dragon. No subtitle there. I enjoyed it. I didn't really enjoy the turn-based fighting in it. I think from a viewing standpoint, what I watched of, shout out to Jeff Regg, playing the other, is it the Like a Dragon series? It's gotta be, right? Yakuza series. That's, Jesus, I'm all over the place. The Yakuza series there, where the combat and the combos that you could flow together with the different fighting styles, that seemed more appealing to me than the turn-based. But it was goofy and comical from the little bit I did play of Like a Dragon. But I know these games take a lot of time to get through, especially if you're doing everything. So Infinite Wealth, like I said, I like the character, I like the goofiness of it, and I like the stories that they do tell in these games. I don't know if I'll ever dive into it. And that same goes for Tekken 8. Obviously much different in terms of gameplay and story that you're telling or playing or going through in Tekken 8. But fighting games, I've been thinking about this lately for me. They've kind of, I don't know, I haven't had a lot of intrigue in terms of fighting games recently. Obviously, I was really into Mortal Kombat 1 when that dropped, but since completing the story of that, and trying out the different modes, I've kind of like dropped it cold. I want to try and go back into it, but it's not hooking me like they used to, of like just going into, like I talk about Injustice 2 a lot. Like that one hooked me with the character customization, and even though, yeah, it's a fighting game, most of your matches and the whole gameplay, yeah, it's just character A versus character B. It's going to be a lot of rinse and repeat, but it felt more fun and rewarding in Injustice 2, just because of the rewards that you get with the armor sets and the extra modes, towers, whatever you want to call them, that they had. I haven't felt hooked like that in a little while in terms of my fighting game experience, and I'm kind of like, oh, maybe this genre's falling out for me, or I'm just there for the story. Like Mortal Kombat and NetherRealm, like they did nothing wrong. I'm still there for the story. But yeah, in terms of a Street Fighter, Tekken, not that it was ever huge in Tekken. Soul Calibur was more of my jam back in the day, in terms of the 3D fighters, but I don't know. There's not really that drive to be like, oh, I want to play that one. So Tekken 8 seems like it's really fluid. I haven't talked to my buddies about it yet, and what their thoughts are on it, but I know this was a huge release. Obviously getting the big 3 in a 2-year span, or close, like just over a year span with Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, and Tekken is great for fighting games fans. Yeah, I just hope this game succeeds and, people are enjoying it. Going into February, big one I could see right now, Persona 3 Reload. Another one I dipped my toe in with Persona. Another game that takes a lot to play through. But happy for that audience. We talked in length about Suicide Squad. I'm chasing after the Platinum right now, and it is taking a long time. I don't know if one of the trophies is bugged. I really hope not. But the grind for the XP there is taking a while. They just announced that their first season is going to be going out with Joker at the end of the month. I'm really intrigued and more of a curiosity standpoint of like what they're going to bring to the table other than just a new character to try and keep the player base there. It seems like the player base has kind of honestly already died off. Not that I've been playing online, just from seeing active player counts here and there on X being posted and all that stuff. I have fun with the game. It's just, yeah, it's getting to that point of like, oh, this is taking a while. So we talked about it in length, so I'm not going to go over it again here. I enjoyed it. Didn't hit all the highs, but we'll have to watch this game as it continues with their seasonal content. Helldivers 2 dropped. Seems like Arrowhead Studios crushed it with that. I know a lot of people are playing it. For me watching it, it seems like fun chaos with friends. I don't know if I'll jump into it just because it has that online heavy component. I feel a little bit more confident that I'd be able to play or find people to play with in my friends groups, but I don't know if that's something for me to dive into right now. But happy for them. They crushed it. Played Up apparently dropped on consoles, so maybe that'll be a thing down the road, yeah, because we enjoyed our time with it on PC. Indie game here that absolutely blew up, Balatro, I think that's how you say it. It's a poker roguelike. Another one, shout out to 6-1 Indie. They've been talking about a lot. I'm interested to check this one out just because I do enjoy poker, playing it with family and stuff like that. So in the roguelike genre. So to jump into that and mix those two elements, I'm interested to see what the gameplay actually is like. It seems like the Joker cards that you can collect have different abilities and different hands that you can try and aim for to win with. I know poker's supposed to be technically random. I don't know. I'm doing a very poor job of explaining this. But I've heard great things, and it seems like the industry's talking about this game. So yeah, if that sounds interesting to you, I would definitely give that a closer look. February. Oh, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Eventually. That's another one eventually. We talked about it also a few weeks ago. My current playthrough of Final Fantasy VII, the original, I'll admit, has taken a bit of a hiatus. Haven't played it in about a week. Need to jump back into it. But Rebirth looks great. That's another one. Obviously, I'm happy for the community for getting their hands on it finally after the remake came out 4 years ago. I don't know. 4 years ago. So yeah, to see the more high def version of where I currently am and the original come out, it's exciting. So eventually, but that will probably be down the road for me. All right, the big one, WWE 2K24 in March, coming out literally as a recording tomorrow for early access. If you're watching this live, we'll be streaming it this week. If you're catching this late, go catch out the VOD or check the VODs. Maybe we'll stream it some more. But I'm really looking forward to this. There seems to be a lot of slight tweaks and improvements, not in terms of graphics, but in terms of the back-end stuff and gameplay stuff. It seems like they took a lot of feedback over in Visual Concepts in 2K, improved some stuff, added some matches. Seems like they're listening to the community a little bit more. Season Pass looks great. Timing's a little on it, in my opinion. But I'm really excited for this game. Obviously, if you guys have watched the channel for a while, you know, obviously we're big wrestling fans here. 2K is probably where I put the most hours, or one of the games I put the most hours into this year, especially the GM mode with myself or Papa Griff also playing it. I think right now it's sitting at like 180 hours from 2K23. Just really looking forward to diving into it, seeing all the things they improved on and whatnot, and then tearing it apart next week's podcast and the review. No, just kidding. But looking forward to that. Very, very excited to jump into there. What else is coming out in March? Oh my God, the Princess Peach game is coming out? I didn't realize that was so soon. The South Park Snow Day game? Kind of intrigued. Seems like it's a 3D, like it looks very different than Stick of Truth and, oh crap, what was the other one? Was it Fractured Butthole? Yes. Looks different than the art styles there. Obviously they not copied the show, but obviously took a lot of inspiration from what the show does and how the show is presented. This one looks more traditional. Looks more like what they did in the N64 games where they made it 3D. I don't know too much about the game, but I might jump into it at some point. It looks fun. And Pepper Grinder, we tried this out for Next Fest. That drops for at least PC and Switch come March 28th. I enjoyed my time with it. A little platformer where you kind of drill through, almost like Dolphin Dive, to get to different platforms. I don't know if I'll jump into it with this release. I don't know if they plan on going to other consoles. I just prefer playing stuff on my PlayStation right now. So if it goes there, maybe I'll check it out at that point. But happy for them that it's coming out. Another Devolver joint. So let's head into April. And let's see what's coming out there. Oh, Grounded coming to the PlayStation platforms. Oh, my God. We had our time with Grounded. I don't know if I'll jump back into that. But glad more people will be able to play that on the platform of their choice. Oh, there's a Prison Architect 2? Whoa, that's a way different art style, at least from the cover. Man, Prison Architect 1 had some chaos when we played it on Xbox on stream with Nolan a few times. Just, yeah. Build your prison, manage your prisoners, get the resources that your prison needs. You could go all out and be ruthless, or you could try and, have a good reform program and try and get them back out to the world. And obviously people try to escape, and there's brawls that happen and all that jazz. So just one of those fun, interesting management sim games. So that's all for May that stuck out to me. June, at least on the Wikipedia side, is very short here. I will shout out one I don't see in this list, which I'm very excited for. Also played this during Steam Next Fest, but #Blood comes out in June, I believe. I believe that's June 28th. Actually, let me look it up before I spread false information like I always do. But I believe that one comes out in June. Blood. June 18th. Okay, I was 10 days off. Not that bad. Don't kill me. So that's coming out in June. Definitely stoked for that. I know the big one that people are looking forward to in that month is going to be Elden Ring's big DLC expansion. It seems like similar in scale to like a Horizon Frozen Hearts? Yeah, I think that's what it was. Seems huge. Seems crazy. We dipped our toe into Elden Ring as well when it came out. I don't think this one's for me, but stoked for people who are looking forward to it. So yeah, moving into July through September. There's one here which seems familiar, but I'm not really sure. Wow, Wikipedia really shitting the bed on, or there's just not a lot of confirmed dates here, because there's only 2 to 3 games in July, August, September, and then October has 1. Yikes. Hopefully we'll get some more dates, obviously, as the year progresses. But let me look up this one game. Bow and the Teal Lotus? Path of the Teal Lotus. For some reason that name rings a bell, but I can't picture the gameplay of it. Oh, it's the little doge, kind of looking like Amaterasu. I'm not sure if this is the game I'm thinking of. No, it's definitely got a pretty art style. Kind of like a 2D platformer. And this little fox dude taking care of enemies, jumping around. Oh my goodness, sometimes summoning things, it looks like. Yeah, this looks really great. Visually fantastic. I think it's an indie studio as well. Squid Shock Studios, published by Humble Games. Yeah, that looks great. So that one's later this year in July. Okay, we talked about this a little bit at the Game Awards, I believe. Black Myth Wukong. This one looks almost like, kind of like Sekiro. Apparently it's based on a Chinese novel, Journey to the West. Action role-playing game from, oh boy, Where's the... Well, it doesn't say the studio. Thanks. Great. Game Science. There it is. Looks amazing visually. I know the studio's had a little bit of internal issues. Let's put it that way. So that makes me that's the reason I'm hesitant on it. Some not great things by some of the people, how they're acting and treat people. So we'll see. We'll see when it rolls around. But in terms of a visual standpoint and how it looks crazy. So that's August 20th. We'll have to see if we jump into that. If it's the difficulty route of a Sekiro and an Elden Ring, that might just be my only hang-up. Not that those games aren't great, because they are. It's just me and my skill level. I get to a certain point, and then I'm like, no, I'm good. So I don't feel like I get far enough in these games to really warrant getting more. Like, I have a decent amount in the backlog, like the Elden Ring, like a Bloodborne, Sekiro, Lies of P most recently. It's like, do I keep investing in these projects and then I can't? Well, I know I can. And then I just hit these walls of progress. It's like, maybe not, but we'll see. Maybe it's not Souls-like with that difficulty. We'll have to see. And as for the rest of the year, with September and October being a whopping 4 games right now that's announced, nothing there is catching my attention. I'm going to quickly scroll through the unscheduled releases. Obviously, granted, might not come out this year, but see if any of the names do catch my attention. Angerfoot is one we played quickly in the Next Fest demo thing recently. That was a lot of fun. Beastie Ball, Volleyball, Pokemon was also fun. I think that wasn't this most recent Steam Next Fest. I believe that was the prior one, which I talked about it for that podcast. Cat Quest 3, woo, pirates and stuff. I'm surprised that one's not announced, but that's just one of those funny ones. You can just turn off your brain, kind of go with it. A little bit of a hack and slash, but very entertaining nonetheless. A little bit intrigued by Epic Mickey Rebrush. This was announced recently at the Nintendo Direct, but I heard great things about Epic Mickey 1 and 2 on the Wii. Yeah, so to see that it's coming to all platforms, I might give that a try if and when that comes out this year. Indiana Jones game. I don't think that's for me. Little Kitty Big City, another one we played at not this most recent Steam Next Fest, with the prior one. A little cat trying to get back to your apartment. Cute little collectathon platformer. It was a good time. Luigi's Mansion 2 HD comes out for the Switch. I believe that was a DS exclusive. Multiverses comes back out. I'll be curious to see how that one, like the audience return rate on that. So if you don't know Multiverse's story, I think we talked about it on the podcast because it kind of caught my attention and I really enjoyed it. So it was like a Smash Bros with Warner Brothers characters. But it was also like Killer Instinct like, where characters would rotate, like 4 or 5 of them, and you could only play them for the week, and then it would go to the next one. But as you were playing it, you would earn in-game currency, and you could like use that currency to permanently unlock characters type thing. And there's a battle pass system similar to every game now, but I'll keep saying Fortnite. And it blew up. It went really well. And then they decided we're going to take it down. Like, they just shut down the servers. I think they said they were going to rework stuff because technically it was in open beta. And it's going to launch again Q1, Q2. Oh, well, that doesn't even make sense because maybe next quarter. But then they're going to relaunch it. So I don't know. I don't know why they didn't just keep it up and rework it from there. I'll be curious to see if players flood back to it or if it's just unfortunately dead on arrival. One lady and I are both looking forward to the follow-up to Gree, or at least that studio, Neva, comes out at some point. Once again, I don't know if that's this year. At least that's on this list. Plucky Squire, you were supposed to come out in 2023. Come on, this is your year, man. A little 2D 3D action as your little storybook character, kind of Paper Mario in his way, attacking villains in a storybook setting, and then you can pop out 3D into the real world and still tackle enemies in the child's bedroom that you're in the book. So yeah, looks cute, looks fun. From All Possible Futures and published by Devolver Digital. What else do we got? What do we got? Star Wars Outlaws. Still gotta finish Jedi Survivor. Yikes. I'll get there eventually. I think that's it. Until Dawn's getting a remaster. I think I've watched that game so many times through. I don't know if a remaster is for me. I also was able to download the PS4 version. I think it was like when PS5 was doing like, oh, these are the best PS4 titles. You can download them now in case like you missed them. Similar to a Fallout and other games. So technically I own it, but it's like, yeah, like I said, I've watched it so many times, and it's one of those choice-based games where it can change stuff. It's like, I don't know. But yeah, those are some of the games I'm looking forward to in 2024. I'm interested in what you guys are looking forward to as well. I'm sure it'll be one of those things where it seems like a light year, at least in terms of my outlook right now. It's like, oh, not that much stuff is coming out. Maybe I can catch up on things and backlog and whatnot. But then it's going to be like, oh, I'm going to take this one. I'm going to take this one. Just keep piling on. We'll see. Who knows? But yeah, really stoked for 2K24, like I said. And then a lot of indie games. I think this is going to be more of an indie game for me this year with Plucky Squire if it comes out, with Neva, with oh wow. If I end up trying the Little Guardsman, Blood is definitely on my radar. Excited for that. So yeah. Let's move over to topic 2. This one's probably gonna be short, sweet, to the point, because yeah. But I want to talk about Sting's retirement real quick. So those of you guys not in the wrestling world, this is not Sting from the Police or whatever band. Sting the wrestler's retiring. So last night, as of recording, AEW held the Revolution pay-per-view, and it was Sting's last match. He was defending his tag titles with Darby Allin against the Young Bucks. They had the main event, and it is, yeah, Sting's done. Sting's retired. I probably should have pulled up a little bit more information as I delved into this, but since he's been in AEW for the past 2 years, man's been crushing it. Obviously, it's been very exciting to see him back in the squared circle. Wow, look at me. Since his potential or huge neck injury and back injury in WWE, unfortunately, years ago, that we thought that was going to be forcing him to retire, to now have him jump back in AEW, or rather, join AEW and then wrestle for this time, and seemingly, crush it, especially at 64. Like, obviously, wrestling is a very physical sport, takes a lot out of you, so to have him still go at this point and at this rate was a pleasure to see, and he definitely deserves all of his flowers from his early start to now. Obviously wrestling many years, from WCW to TNA to WWE to now, being in AEW, obviously some other promotions here and there across that time. But the man's been wrestling a long time, definitely deserves all his flowers for what he's done. And yeah, I just want to talk about it quickly. I, growing up, wrestling, obviously knew about it, but wasn't really big into it until WrestleMania 23. Had a lot of action figures, and I always talk about the barbershop moment. That was the thing that at least I remembered the most. I think my parents had a tape of it, so that was more my fandom, which like Shawn Michaels started, and then getting into it come WrestleMania 23 time, and then being a fan since then. Obviously, I didn't see Sting wrestle all that much. When I did dabble into TNA, that was my first not really hands-on, but my first experience with him wrestling in real time. I knew about Crow Sting due to having action figures, but never watched him during that era, along with Surfer Sting. Going back now as an adult, thanks to the network and watching some of it, granted, I probably am missing a lot of the peak moments or his best matches, like against Flair and Great Muta, etc., as the list probably goes on and on. But there's been some moments that I have been able to watch, as, for example, with his struggles against the NWO or fighting back against them and learning about these moments through the documentaries. It's been cool to see, granted, if it is only just a little bit of it, but to go back and then watch that. And then being an active wrestling fan and watching, I believe it was 2015. Hold on, let me scan right here real quick. Oh, God, nope, didn't mean to click that. I believe it was 2015 when he went to WWE and popping up and showing up for Survivor Series to help out Dolph Ziggler against the Corporation. No, not the Corporation. What were they calling themselves? Oh, God. The McMahons, the people in charge, whatever their gimmick was. But to have him pop in there, like, that was exciting and huge, obviously, since he had not been in WWE prior and never made that jump from WCW over there to being in the game, being the huge, or I think that was maybe have been his first thing, was the video game announcement. Yeah, in 2K15. Being a guest superstar there, and then the Authority, him going there during Survivor Series and interrupting that, helping Dolph Ziggler finish that match off and win. Obviously, we didn't get to see him wrestle all that much in WWE, which was too bad. Like I mentioned earlier, the unfortunate back injury, neck injury, I don't remember exactly, but it was that buckle bomb. That was too bad. And then he did get his chance to fight at Mania 31. Probably not everybody's favorite moment and not what we were hoping for with the Triple H match, but it is what it is. At least it was something we got to experience on our side of things. And then he retired for a little bit due to the injury and was kind of around, but then to see his return in AEW 2020, it was great. And like I said, he's been doing these matches, he's been going all out. Especially once again for his age, doing big dives, and he's not the fastest guy, but he's solid in there and is exciting and engaging, and that's the most important thing. But to see him go out there, have his last match last night. Now I haven't watched the match, so I can't fully break down the match and all that jazz. But from what I've heard, Revolution was a great pay-per-view for the most part. There was obviously hiccups here and there, but his retirement match was great. Obviously had his sons involved with kind of paying homage to the Surfer Sting and the Wolfpack Sting with his entrance. Darby laying it all out on the line, going through the glass. Apparently Sting went through glass at some point as well. But it sounded like it was a very emotional journey. A little surprised they came out on top and let Sting go undefeated throughout his AEW run. I thought he would, go for the business and go out on his back. That seems to be, I guess, an old thing now. It doesn't happen all that much. I don't know. But yeah, Sting and Darby would retain their tag titles. I presume they're going to give it up now, as Darby's probably going to go to his Mount Everest training. Sting is going to obviously retire. So what we do with the titles at this moment, hey, open book there. Obviously, there's a decent amount of tag teams in that company that could go for it. We'll have to wait and see there. But just wanted to shout out Sting real quick. The icon. Always looking cool. Sounds like he's a great guy outside of the ring. And, very sad day to see him go. But going out on his terms, so that's a good thing there. It's not, obviously, the first retirement where it was a cut short moment. Glad he got his good farewell. Glad AEW, obviously treated him very, very well. And excited to see what he does next. If he's going to stay in AEW and be more of a coach / producer type role, or if he's just going to ride off to the sunset and just, chill. Just enjoy his time and do his thing. But, Well, everybody, this has been another episode of the Wait What Are We Talking About podcast. My name is Bret, aka Enigma9011. I appreciate you guys hanging out today for this, a little shorter episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys ever do want to catch the podcast live, you can always go over to twitch.tv/Enigma9011. You can drop a follow over there. You'll get notified when we go live. So you join on the fun and conversation with us. But if you can't catch it live, that's A-OK. Go over to YouTube and podcast services the very next week where it's broken out topic by topic and put as one big video and MP3 for your amusement on the following Friday. Last but not least, wherever you're watching or listening, we could drop a follow or a sub real quick. It may seem small, but does help the channel grow. So if you liked what you heard and want some more, make sure you do that. We would love and appreciate you for it. Appreciate everybody hanging out today, giving this a watch, giving it a listen, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.